Hey, what's going on guys? Alex here. That is the all-new Polaris Ranger XD 1500. It's Polaris's new heavy-duty Ranger and probably the most heavy-duty side-by-side on the market. And that is a GMC Canyon AT4X, a mid-size truck. And this Polaris is aiming to replace the mid-size truck. So in this video, we're gonna walk through all the differences, all the similarities, and see which one's right for you, a mid-size truck or a heavy-duty side-by-side. And I think you're gonna be surprised at some of the similarities between the side-by-side and the mid-size truck. And I think the real shocker is some of the differences. So stay tuned and we'll go through everything. Now, I think this is a really good comparison because this GMC Canyon AT4X, it's the most off-road worthy version of the mid-size truck that GMC makes. And side-by-sides, we don't even need to question it. They are super capable off-road. You can tell that just by looking at them. Oh look, I found a Blaze. You look like Blaze. Anyway, yeah, we've found out from all our testing in side-by-sides, they're usually pretty unstoppable and they can go most places. So if you're gonna stack a pickup truck up against a machine like that, it better be the one that's got a 3-inch lift and rock sliders, front and rear lockers, and really knobby tires. So I think this is the perfect truck to put up against a side-by-side like this. All right, I've got two machines here and they're a little bit different, but they're both XD 1500s. So this first one is the premium model, which actually is the base model. And the reason I wanted to put this one in this video is because just like pickup trucks, the less equipment you add onto these from the factory, the more capable they are. So this one, not having a whole lot on it, is gonna tow more than something like this, and we'll get to the numbers in a second. But again, I wanted to include something that is good for the family, a family hauler, let's say. This one seats 6 people, obviously it's a 4-door, and that's the configuration that most pickup trucks are these days. Sure, you know, we had stubby for a while, some people are still buying short pickup trucks, but some brands aren't even making them anymore, and the crew cab configuration is definitely the most popular, so yeah, that's why I wanted to include this one. When I think of a side-by-side, this is most of the time what I think of, is a machine that's got half doors or no doors or mesh doors, and no windshield. You get super dusty, covered in rain if it's raining, covered in mud if you're doing a recovery out of a mud pit. And yes, like I said, the option to get this machine without any of that is still there if you want max towing. But the cab enclosure is really nice and makes you feel like you're driving a pickup truck. If I open these doors here, they're suicide doors, but they're really heavy doors. And just like the doors on the GMC Canyon, they have stays at a couple different points. So if you're on an incline, the door will hold itself just like an automotive door. And then looking at the inside here, it's getting closer to the interior of a pickup truck. Sure, it still definitely feels like a side-by-side in here. You've still got hard plastics in places, which I don't think is a bad thing. It's still gonna get dusty in here and you can wipe it off pretty easily. But we've got HVAC, not just a heater like a lot of side-by-sides. You've actually got air conditioning with recirc, a condenser, and a cabin air filter down here. Adjustable air conditioning vents. You've got a cluster right here with all the information you can need, just like a pickup truck. JBL sound system that gets incredibly loud. And you've even got a digital screen with heated seats in a side-by-side. That's a truck feature for sure, and I'm wondering how long it's gonna be until we start seeing ventilated seats in side-by-sides. I'm sure it is not too far away. You've also got power windows, just like the truck. Power ports to keep all your devices charged up. You've also got a windshield wiper that's got a sprayer attached to it. And then this shifter looks very automotive style too. You've got drive, reverse, and park. No high or low gear or neutral like you'd see in a lot of other side-by-sides. So very simple for really any rider or driver to get in here and put it in gear. This one's the North Star Ultimate, so we've got some camo on the seats here, but something else you don't see in a lot of side-by-sides is an automotive style center armrest. So you can make this a bench seat and sit 3 across, or you can put this down and you get a very comfortable spot to rest your elbow while you're driving down the trail or around your property. Now into the Canyon AT4X, and yeah, I mean, this is one of the nicest truck interiors out right now, and it doesn't really come close to the side-by-side over there. Yes, this is probably the best interior in a side-by-side right now as far as a utility side-by-side goes, but still, they're a few steps away from what GMC is doing here with the Canyon AT4X. So you start this truck up and you've got Full digital cluster in front of you. Obviously, big center screen here with all your different drive modes. Bose sound system, many more speakers in this vehicle. But one advantage that you get with the side-by-side over this GMC Canyon is passenger accommodations. So we have a center console here, so we're only gonna sit 2 across, 3 in the back. So this is a 5-passenger vehicle, whereas the Ranger XD is a 6-passenger vehicle. And if I sit in the back here, I'm sitting behind myself right now. Not bad, but not a ton of legroom. I've got, I don't know, like 2 inches there. And then taking a look at headroom, you know, a little bit of headroom. So it's not bad, but I think the side-by-side is gonna be a little more comfortable. Let's go see. Same thing, I'm gonna sit behind myself and climb in here. Yeah, legroom, I've got probably twice the legroom I have in this vehicle compared to the Canyon, and headroom's not even close. Look at that. I've got so much space up here, and these windows are just massive, so if I'm riding around in this vehicle, I can see a lot more and really enjoy the scenery out of this compared to the truck. Feels way more open in here than it does in that truck. Now let's talk about towing capacity, because these machines are built to work. The GMC Canyon AT4X, it's rated to tow 6,000 pounds. Pretty good. If we go over to the Ranger, doesn't matter which model you get, whether it's a base model 3-seater or a fully spec'd out 6-seater, all of them rated to tow 3,500 pounds. So the tow rating is a lot lower on the side-by-side than it is on the truck. Now, yesterday I towed around some hay with this machine right here, and it was 3,500 pounds. So I completely maxed it out, and I was off-road on a trail, and it handled it just fine. Power-wise and sound, vibration, noises, all that, you could not tell there was a trailer back there. I'm pretty confident that, you know, a bunch of owners of these are gonna overload them and definitely hook up more than 3,500 pounds to them, and I think they would be just fine. Payload is the number I'm really interested in though, because I think you're gonna be shocked at the differences in payload. Looking at the GMC Canyon, payload is 1,219 pounds. So total weight you can put on it, including, you know, passengers, weight in the bed, tongue weight for your trailer, 1,219 pounds. Let's move over to the Ranger, because you're gonna be surprised. I was very surprised when I saw this. Of course, payload changes depending on which model you go with, which is why I brought a few different models out here. But the one we're looking at right here has a payload of 2,110 pounds, which is so much higher than that mid-sized truck over there. And then even this unit right here, which is, you know, fully kitted out with a ton of accessories and full cabin closure and everything, the payload on that is 1,640 pounds, so still a good bit higher than the Canyon AT4X. But really, the impressive number is if you get the base model without the cabin closure, 2,110 pounds in the 3-seater, 2,150 pounds in the 6-seater, which is just so impressive. That kind of payload number in a side-by-side, that's like heavy-duty diesel truck payload, and you're getting it in a super capable off-road vehicle that you can take anywhere and still get the job done. And then I forgot my tape measure today, but actually this measure app seems to work pretty well. So I'm gonna measure the bed lengths. So we'll start right at the edge of the bed. That's close enough. And we'll go all the way down here. And phone is saying that is a 5'1" 1" bed. So right about 5 feet. And then as far as width, we'll go from corner to corner. So 4'7" wide. By about 5'1" 1" long. And then the Ranger will do the same thing. So about 3'4" 1", so much longer bed on the Canyon. And then 4'7" wide. So the width of the bed is exactly the same between these two machines, but you get more length out of the Canyon. And it's also worth noting that the walls are deeper on the Canyon, so a little easier for things to bounce out of this machine than it is the one over there. And then just looking at some of the other options in the bed, the Canyon has 4 tie downs from the factory at each corner. It's also got a household power socket in the bed right there. And then it's got all kinds of covers you can pull out and put additional mounting points as well. And then something kind of cool too is this Canyon AT4X has a little storage cubby in the back here, so you can put, you know, recovery straps or whatever you might want to put in here, keep it out of the way, and you'll always have it on you. And then the Ranger, you've got a tie down point at each corner here. You've also got 4 5-gallon bucket holders up front, and then you've got all these pockets here that you can put pieces of wood in and section your bed out or build a frame up and over your bed to make this, you know, set up for exactly the kind of work you need to do. You've also got these rails that come on all models from the factory, so you can put accessories on these rails, mount all kinds of stuff. And you can see this machine over here has a spare tire carrier. What you don't get on the Canyon is a hydraulic dump bed, and I'm not going to dump it all the way because this is full of stuff, but that is a really nice feature. If you've got gravel loaded into the bed, you can spread it around with the hydraulic dump bed. No pickup truck offers that. You got to get like a medium duty or a service body truck to get something like that. And also, just like the Canyon, this has a 12-volt socket in the bed, so a little bit different, but it's still got power, so you can run accessories out the back of the rig. So you've got this accessory rack right here that's got a rifle case on it. You've got a rear-mounted winch that's capable of 1,000 pounds. You've got a headache rack. This one's also got a roof rack up top for some more storage, and then it's got, you know, like a cooler strapped down to the back. But both vehicles, a lot you can do with the bed, obviously, and both vehicles you're going to have some sort of mounting system you can get to secure all your gear back there. Off-road capability is super important if you're using one of these vehicles to get around your property and actually get some jobs done. And ground clearance on the side-by-side is a lot better than what you get on the truck. You're looking at 15 inches of ground clearance here, and all the suspension components are bent up nice and good, so everything's really protected, really well shielded, and just look how flat the bottom of that is. So even if you get hung up on something, everything's really well guarded and you should slide right off. So that's 15 inches of ground clearance. Here's what 10.7 inches of ground clearance looks like. Obviously, not quite the impressive ground clearance you get on these machines over here. And it's also not completely flat. So for example, you've got a diff hanging down low that obviously takes away from ground clearance. And you've got this really pretty bumper cover up front that is bound to get scratched by rocks. Whereas this is all, you know, kind of plastic and metal, and I wouldn't worry too much about scratching that up. The AT4X does have steel rock rails, which you don't get on the side-by-side, so if you really are testing out your breakover angle and you come down on a rock, you're a little better protected over here on the mid-sized truck. But this truck also has a huge leg up in terms of suspension. This has GM's Multimatic DSSV shocks, which are super advanced. I did a lot of dirt road driving to get to this ranch that I'm at right now. These did wonderfully, and you have a much more basic shock system over here on the Ranger. You have adjustable preload here, but nothing compared to the crazy advanced shocks you get on the Canyon AT4X. Let's take a look at drive modes. Both these vehicles have some stuff to play around with. So in the Ranger, everything's controlled over here on the left-hand side. So you've got a mode selector that'll go between standard mode, sport mode, and comfort mode, which changes the transmission tuning and the throttle response. You also have a tow haul mode. If you push that in, limits it to 30 miles per hour, changes the gearing and the CVT, and yeah, makes it really good for pulling around loads, hauling heavy material, or crawling up or going down really steep inclines. You've also got a selectable all-wheel drive mode right there, and the rear diff is locked by default, but you can press this button and unlock the rear diff, and you basically have a turf mode so you don't tear up your lawn. And you can even have the rear diff unlocked while all-wheel drive is still enabled. Now the Canyon's also got a pretty advanced all-wheel drive system. You've got auto mode, 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low, and then a bunch of different off-road modes as well that you can cycle through. Tow haul, off-road, normal, Baja, terrain, back to tow haul. Pretty big difference in tire here too. This is a much wider tire. Obviously this is going to be better for on-road driving than this tire is here. This is a 29-inch tire. This I believe is a 33. It's a 285/70/17. So obviously you got a little more width, a little more diameter out of this tire here than you do the 29-inch tire. These are 32s over here on this machine. So an upgraded accessory tire basically. So getting closer in size to what the GMC has, but the GMC definitely still has the beefiest tire out of these three. You've got a rear camera here on the Ranger, also a front camera as well, but that's really it. You can also get some accessory cameras like a game camera, help you with hunting and stuff. But for the most part, it's front and rear cameras, and not all of them have it. For example, this premium model, you just get cup holders. You don't have the ride command system and no camera system as well. The camera system on the GMC, way more advanced. So we have a ton of different views here, front view and a rear view, just like you get on a lot of the models of the Ranger, but a lot more. So we have a top-down view up front, top-down view in the rear. We can see our front tires and how they are positioned. We can see our rear tires right there. We have a 360-degree view and then a couple of trailer camera views as well. This is really, really helpful off-road, especially using this front camera. You really need it in a truck like this. A side-by-side like that, it's not as important. You can see a lot better out of that machine. The visibility is a lot better. So you don't need all the camera systems. This, it's a lot more helpful to have, but still, the camera system in this GMC is a lot better. Let's pop the hood on the mid-size truck. This is powered by a 2.7-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. I don't know the exact power numbers off the top of my head, and I don't have internet here, so I'll flash it up on the screen. 8-speed transmission, and yeah, it's got a really good amount of power, and the turbo is really fun in this. You can hear a lot of turbo noise coming out of it, and that makes it fun to drive. This Ranger, powered by a new 1.5-liter 3-cylinder engine. This makes 110 horsepower and 105 foot-pounds of torque. Pretty impressive that they're able to get 3,500 pounds of towing out of an engine that makes 105 foot-pounds of torque. And it's powered by a new CVT that they're calling the steel drive transmissions. So it doesn't have a rubber belt in it. It has a steel belt. A lot of people's concerns with these side-by-sides are the durability, the longevity of the rubber belts. Polaris says that this steel belt is rated for the life of the vehicle. They wouldn't give an exact mileage number, but they said service is every 6,000 miles with a fluid and filter change, and then the belt should be good for life. And they're saying it should last 50% longer than the rubber belts in the previous Ranger. And now we come to price. And again, I think you're going to be a little shocked at how similar some of these are. And we'll start in the middle with the cheapest one. So this is the 2-seat premium model, which is the base model, like I keep saying. So this is the lowest end Ranger XD you can get, and it starts at $30,000. This one over here is top of the line. This is the crew version, and it's the North Star Ultimate, and it's also in the premium camo trim. So this is as high up as you can do one, and then of course it's got all kinds of accessories mounted to the roof. And the MSRP on this one is just shy of $53,000, and that's before any of the roof racks and the light bar and the cases and anything in the bed or anything like that. So $53,000 MSRP. And then let's pop into the glove box of this truck, take a look at the list price on it, which is $58,640. So crew cab to crew cab, not a huge difference in price. And I think there's a use case for both of these at the end of the day. I mean, there's a lot of people that need one vehicle to get a couple jobs done on their property and haul their family around, go to the movies on a Saturday night, put kids in the back. That's probably the one you're gonna want. But if you need a dedicated vehicle to get dirty all the time and load up with stuff and scratched on the side of trees and really just beat up, but know you can take anywhere, this is probably the machine to go with. I was towing with one of these yesterday. I made the tightest U-turn I've ever made with a trailer, and if I were in that truck, I would have needed spotters. I would have needed to keep driving for 5 minutes to find a good turnaround spot. So there's a lot of things that these side-by-sides are capable of that a pickup truck could just never do, like flying down a dirt road at 50 miles an hour with a bed full of crap. You're not going to want to do that in a truck like that. This handles it like an absolute champ. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you have a big piece of land, big piece of property, which one of these would you choose to get the job done? Like I said, really depends on the use case. We love our side-by-sides at Tumbleweed Ranch for pulling out any kind of vehicle that gets stuck on our course, but to drive from our office up to the ranch, it'd probably take something like this. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm really hoping we can get one of these up to Tumbleweed Ranch to do a long-term test on, see how well it pulls stuff out of the woods, because yeah, we love heavy-duty trucks at TFL, and now we've got a heavy-duty side-by-side. So stay tuned for more, and we'll catch you in the next video.